We have been coming to Jacksonville Beach on vacation for this is the fourth year, 2018, and we were staying not too far from here, and we drove past the church and we noticed the name and that it was Beach Church, and we were like, well, that's kind of cool. Who wouldn't want to go to a beach church? And we just really loved it. It was the Spirit of God moved in the service. We loved the music. We loved the ministry. We felt welcome. We felt warm. So we came back again last year in 2020, but in the midst of that, COVID had started. So we just were so excited because the online campus started in 2020. So we were able to watch beach every week in real time through the isolation that COVID brought. I work as a nurse, so there was a lot of exposure to patients that had COVID-19. So we were really trying to stay in our little cocoon at home, and we would watch the services online. And it really was a saving grace for us, really, because of the isolation we were facing at the time. But one thing that I found unique about Beach Church is that it always comes back to the cross and what Jesus did on the cross and the hope of the resurrection. And it really got me thinking about, this is a daily thing. It's not just when I go to church, or it's not just a weekly thing. This is a daily thing that I really need to focus on God and think about what He would have me do. It's very relationship based. It's not just about a building or a place that you go. It's an individual walk, but then there's also the community of support that you get from fellow believers. So
I would agree with her on that. The online campus really took us out of the comfort zone in that it showed us that you can still worship and experience, even if you're not in the building, even if you're not in the pew or the chair, whatever you want to call it. But it really gave us that opportunity to say, okay, this can be personal even outside of the building. And I think the messages really encouraged us to think not just Sunday morning, but also Monday morning as well. And that really ministered to me. I would say it probably changed my outlook on church, and just it made it real even through something as isolating as the pandemic.
There was a sermon series, and I wish I could remember the exact name, but it was about David not too long ago. And it seemed like the theme that kept going on and on and on was that David was a very imperfect man, but he was a man after God's own heart. So that particular series really helped me, because oftentimes we feel like we fail God every day. We don't have the right attitude. Our motives aren't always perfect and things like that. But I was reminded through that sermon series, we're human. We make mistakes, but God always has grace for us at the moment that we ask for it. So that sermon series really stuck out to me.
There was one message I remember Pastor Carey preached, and I think he may have talked a little about his journey getting to Beach Church, and if I recall correctly, he may have talked about that he was really looking to go into some sort of like education or training or something like that in the church. Teaching, I think, is the term he used. And he went through the different parts of like how God brought him from certain positions into certain parts of his life, and ultimately found his ministry here. And his message really kind of showed me, okay, living for God is a process. And God takes us from season to season, but it doesn't mean it's the last season. It just means you're here for right now, and who knows what's going to happen next. That one really ministered to me, and I would have to say Jesus really spoke to me in that and encouraged me and gave me some sort of hope for what may come next. I don't know what that is, but I know that really blessed me. The other thing, I have been blessed personally by the worship team, by Pastor Colin and the worship team. Day in, every week, they were there worshiping in a time when there was so much uncertainty. And not just them, but of course there's your tech teams and all the different people that are behind the scenes. I've been encouraged by just seeing the church. It's almost like the church just rose up and just came together and did this online community so that lives could be changed. So I would just say thank you, worship team, thank you to all of you, because when you're up there, and maybe even it's to an empty room at some times when there was nobody in the room and it's like you feel maybe awkward, but you were definitely used by God to touch lives, even to that empty room, because there were people watching and people were being encouraged, and we got that encouragement to go the next step, whether it was to go to work and see somebody who is ill, or to talk to somebody on the phone, which is what I do. You helped us and encouraged us, and I appreciate that.
Hi, we're the Hernandez family from Fort Wayne, Indiana.